What's up, nerds? How's it going? Hey, look, I'm perfectly framed in the doorway. Yeah, movie magic. How's it going? Oh, none of you. Today's my day off, so I am just chilling. I went out to eat with my mom and my stepdad. Great time. Uh, it's a place called Chicago Speakeasy. I had a burger, and now my heart hurts. I probably should start watching what I eat now that I'm almost 40. And I just realized that's the age when you start to get your prostate checked, right? No, not your prostate checked. No, it's your prostate. Yeah, they stick something up your butt to check your prostate. Luckily, being gay, I've had it checked. Not recently, though. Fortunately, it doesn't feel very good. No matter what the bottoms tell you. I honestly don't get it. I've never got it. I've never got it. I've tried. I gave it the college try. Literally. I literally gave it the college try. How many times? A few dozen, which sounds like a lot. It sounds like a lot. It's not. It's not. If you're not gay, you don't get it. If you're gay, you know what I'm talking about. It's not a lot. I've tried the small ones, I've tried the medium-sized ones, I've tried the big ones. There is no Goldie Cocks out there. They all hurt my butt, and it's just not worth it. This is why you're watching, right? Surely. Anyway, back to the game. Last time on David Embarrasses Himself, we it was like I'm like trying to outmatch myself or outdo myself every episode by making as little as progress as possible. So we did a little grinding last time for about an hour and a half. I got distracted by talking because we are woefully, I don't want to say under leveled, but I don't feel like we're prepared enough for the boss fights coming up, seeing how difficult the random encounters are. So we bumped up their levels one by one each, and I think I'll do it again, just because I want to be safe, and I don't want to worry about it, even though it looks like it might be a bit of a slog to get there. Slog. Anyway, yeah, so let's get to it. Running around in circles. This is how we grinded back in the day, kids. Just run around in polygon circles, facing off with random enemies until we leveled up. Ran uphill both ways. It was a pain, yeah. Anyway, I worked yesterday, or no, I worked yesterday. Yeah, I worked. Sorry, put that in. I worked yesterday for about 12 hours. I worked today for 4 hours, and that's it. I have tonight off, so it's not all. My schedule isn't totally absurd, but yesterday I just killed it with my job, so I could take it pretty easy today, which is great. Anyway, have you ever seen the Final Fantasy movie, Spirits Within? I saw it once in the theater, and I was disappointed that it wasn't based on Final Fantasy VII. I don't understand why they haven't tried to make this into a movie. You'd think it would be like a no-brainer. I mean, yeah, it would cost a couple $100 million, but Disney pours tons of money into their projects. I don't understand why there's not like and a Pokemon game too would be great, right? Not like the Pikachu movie, but like a genuine Pokemon movie. Like And it could be a couple movies. You could have them go from, through the gauntlet of getting the badges, and the Elite Four exploring the region. Seems like a great idea, a big moneymaker. I don't know. Nintendo is really weird about movies. Although, like I was just saying, Final Fantasy VII. There's tons of money to be made there. And if you do it right, you can rope in normies and just rake in the money. There's a pretty good story here. It needed some fleshing out before my book that I wrote, Absolute Ambition, kind of a fanfic slash branch off, inspired by the Final Fantasy franchise. This game specifically, kind of renamed, reworked, built up some concepts, characters, and the magic system, and the framework that the story is within, incorporating aspects of different Final Fantasy games to fortify the story and the backstory. And it's available on Amazon.com and Audible. I've sold like maybe 10 copies. No, it was tons of fun to write though. And I wrote a sequel. I haven't published it because it is pretty expensive to self-publish, and I don't have the desire to try to find a agent and a real publisher, because frankly, if it got any success, I'd probably have to deal with like copyright issues or something. Even though I tried to make it as original as possible, with just like this game as kind of a launching pad, not a launching pad, like a, like crutches. Like I leaned on this game heavily to create the story, but the story didn't entirely follow the framework of this story, or the line of this story, or whatever. Yeah. Not too long, not too short. Good game. Cloud, the main character is named Cirrus, kind of like Cloud. I think it came off as mockery, though, to fans of Final Fantasy VII, which is probably why it didn't get a lot of good attention from anyone. Which was disappointing, but, whatever. If I wanted to make money, I would have tried to get an agent and a publisher, and I didn't want to do that. Too much work. And I really didn't need the money, like I didn't want to depend on it as a possibility, or use it as a possibility, have it as a possibility in my mind that it would be how I would make the money that I would depend on. Same thing with like streaming or whatever. Like I could probably set it up so I would have a viewer or more, but that would require me to do the research, turn up the volume on my enthusiasm, be all into it, in your face, the 3 things you want to learn about, whatever, and I just don't have the time or the talent or the desire to do that. And money isn't really a motivating factor, because one, I know like it's probably pretty hard to make a living off of YouTube, although possible. And 2, I don't want to be dependent on like some algorithm or some company who sends me form emails if something's demonetized, or if like I get in trouble for something. It's just so I'm kind of like a YouTuber from ye old days, like 20 years ago, when people were just uploading videos of themselves talking with no editing. There will never be an edit on this channel. unless I have a nip slip, which could happen any moment. I'm wearing pants today, so there's no chance of me accidentally flashing my gigantic dong if I have to get up to yell at my cats. It's not gigantic, but it's a good size. It's a hefty size. I've been told the perfect size by both men and women. Not singular, both, plural, for both of them. I'm good at this. I'm good at the sex, is what I'm saying. Very good at the sex. Had a lot of practice with your mom. Not enough your mom jokes anymore. Those are the best jokes. Alright, Aries, heal yourself. Heal thyself. Why are they picking on her? Is it because she's my healer? She's just a little girl. Holt. Anyway, Cirrus in my book had spiky hair like Cloud, and there was a reason for it. It's the, as you would understand it, Mako injections. Now, obviously, I didn't coin it as Mako injections, but yeah, it's energy is being injected into him. So, spiky hair makes sense, and his irises had, electricity in them. Yeah, they didn't glow. I described it as like little lightning bolts. Heavily inspired by. How are we doing on everything? Not a lot of progress. Tifa's about to level up though, it looks like. Not about to, but close. I'm looking at the limit breaks, not the levels. Let's see. Probably about 4 or 5 more encounters. Probably 4. Yep, this is it. This is what I have to offer the world on Twitch or YouTube. Me running back and forth in a game that is pretty old, older than YouTube, which is 20. I know it recently had a birthday. But yeah, this is fun. This is what I like to do. This is how I relax, and I don't know how else I would have fun, to be honest. New games are stressful for me, okay? Like, I thought about trying out Skyrim because I've been watching videos on it on YouTube, and it looks really cool. But like that high fantasy setting, like the Lord of the Rings setting, it's just, I don't know, it feels tiresome to me, and it's never been like really very enthralling, I remember seeing the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring, and probably the other ones in the theater and falling asleep. And I was a teenager at the time. I worked at the movie theater at the time, and I just fell asleep. I was bored. I think it's the accents, and just like the hobbits were just goofy. I just didn't really get into it. I never got it, which is disappointing because like I had friends and I see on YouTube people got so into it and so passionate about it, and it just like flew over my head like Avatar. I was too old for Avatar when it came out, like by a few years, and I think I really would have enjoyed it had I watched it while I was a kid growing up, at that right age, the age of Aang, the protagonist of that show. But now I try to watch it, and it's like, Aang is not, I can't get past Aang acting like a little kid. It's just, I don't want to watch little kids. Now, I've been told he matures as, the show progresses, but it's like, I'm not invested in it, you know. I don't have a reason to keep watching it. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's not for me. Unfortunately, I would really like it to be, but it's not. And that goes for a lot of games and a lot of like fun stuff that I see people get into. I just can't get into it. Sports too. Like I have never been a sports person. Never been able to get into sports. Um, Maybe for lack of, or for lack of talent, lack of ability, and desire not to embarrass myself. But I mean, I could improve upon, you know, whatever sport I decided to play. But even at my max, like potential, I would still be probably mid to upper mid in whatever sport I wanted to play or whatever competitive thing I wanted to do, like gaming. Like if I tried really hard to be a gamer, I'd probably be maybe slightly above mid. Same thing with sports and all that stuff, all that jazz. So I don't even like bother. What's the point? Other than to have fun. And in order to have fun, it has to be familiar to me. And so then I get stuck in this like rut where I'm playing a game that's been out for 20 some years. But I'm hoping to branch out. I am getting older, and it's harder to branch out as I get older. But if I just don't want to be like a boomer and just like avoiding stuff just because it's new and foreign. And Skyrim isn't even new. I bought it like I think I bought it 2 or 3 times intending to play it, and then I've never played it. Yeah, you know it's sad, and you have a problem when you bought a game for like the third or fourth time, and you don't know it till you get home to put it in your library where you probably won't play it, and then you find in your library you've already bought it, and you've done this with multiple games, multiple times. And I can't even bear to sell them because, you know, what if I want to play them one day? I've spent so much time and money buying, looking for games that I just never played. And it started, you know, like in the late 90s when I started getting games that I would never play. I want to play them. I just never really got around to it because I didn't want it enough. But what did I do, you ask? Just chilled out at home, TV, movies, and now TV and movies suck. Like everything new is garbage. I can't get over how bad some of the Marvel and Star Wars movies are. I mean, it's almost like whoever is creating them, Disney or whatever, are trying to produce crap. Like I watched, what was it? That second sequel movie to the Star Wars trilogy. You know, the 8th one with where Luke milks the space creature and drinks green milk, like right out of the boob, space creature boob. I walked out of that movie, and I've never been a Star Wars fan, but I walked out of that movie thinking that was terrible. Like, as a story, it was just awful. Just an awful movie, just irredeemably bad. I mean, it was beautiful, but the story sucked. And what was that Canto Bite, like, segment of the movie? Complete side adventure for the the minorities to go off on their side adventure. You know, that's probably why they wanted to give black guy and Asian girl more screen time and they couldn't fit them into the actual story. That makes sense, actually. Yeah. Anyway, terrible movie. I can't believe it was made. And then the one that followed it, that was awful too. Arguably more awful? I don't know. They were both absolutely terrible in their own right. And then the first one of that trilogy was like stale popcorn, you know? It's like someone else's stale popcorn from the previous movie showing. Half full, mostly with old maids in it, you know, unpopped popcorn kernels. That is what The Force Awakens is. It's like a half-filled bag of old maids and, you know, stale popcorn. And people who enjoyed it, I think it was like they were just like really jonesing for some popcorn. And by that I mean a Star Wars product. And they were like, oh, this is great. I was like, no. And then after, you know, maybe after some time, most of them came around. Bro, what are you doing up there? He's on my, I don't know what it's called. It's like a half shelf underneath my window with like cabinets where you put like dishes. Like back in the day, they would put china in there. I have books, old university books. I have an entire library actually of college university books. Yeah, I'm not a lawyer, but I have an entire law school worth of reference material here that I've read a little bit of. I was just curious, you know, about what they learn and how the law works. And again, it's like the video games. It's like I'll get to it one day, you know, when I'm not working 60 hours a week, which will probably be after I'm dead. So never. Oh well. Oh well. I mean, frankly, if I didn't work, I don't know. I was going to say I don't know what I do, but I have so much to do. I don't know if I could commit to doing it, though. I would feel like I was just spinning my wheels, I think. I need to be productive in some way. I suppose making money on YouTube would be productive. A means of production, but I don't know. I just can't depend on this. So I'm never going to try. That's my cope for not having any viewers. Basically. I'll clean up back here so you guys go ahead and don't get caught by Shinra. Well, for some reason there are no guards around here, but there are a lot of floating orb things and zombie cats. So I think we're safe for now. You know? Oh, and those things. What are those things? Like worms with arms? That's heckin' crazy, man. They're pretty weak, though, so... More of those, please. I don't want to use bio. I'm afraid they're poisonous. Back in the day, we didn't know what those things were. Now I can call it a drone. That floating thing. Obviously. Yeah. I think they're all poison. Poisony. I could sense them with my sense materia. That would be a waste of time and money. Not money. Although, time is money. Oh, shit. What was that? What did I do there? Change? What did change mean? What does that mean? I don't know. That sword, it looks heavy. But yeah, in my book, absolute ambition. I explained away the sword, the staff, the punching thing. Why would you have a sword or staff, or depend on, your fists as a weapon when there are guns in this world? Because there are guns. Barrett has a gun on his arm. There are guns everywhere, and apparently some of them only cause like 1 or 2 HP of damage. So I mean, they're probably just like shooting peas at you anyway. The way I explained it away was a will field. Our protagonist in the book had, or the protagonist in the book, Cirrus, who was or molded off of the idea of Cloud, had a will field, W-I-L-L, sorry, brain damage, will field that would spring up, like an orb around him, like a light orb around him from his, his materia. The materia stand-in was called Essenia, because essence, it was like, essence comes from this idea of a soul and soul energy, and you get the idea. Anyway, so like he has his magic orb where he can use to cast, magic or whatever, and since he's bonded with it, it like protects him from like projectiles or things that lack will. So like if something were to fall above him toward him, it wouldn't like damage him, because a will field would spring up to, divert the falling debris. Now a bullet would bounce off of it or fall to the ground, but a sword or a staff from someone going to smash him or stab him would go through the will field, because will would be behind the attack. Right? So his will protects him from things with no will, but if there's someone with will intending to attack him, the will field just doesn't generate. So that is how I explain that. And I'm pretty proud of it. It works. It works. It makes the system work. Tangerine, mango, guava, strawberry. Needs a little lime. A little lime. That was the joke. It's like, how can you fit so much stuff in there? Hey, look at that. We're getting up there. Getting up there. Gonna graduate to the next level pretty soon. Sweet. I don't know what the other games are that are popular. Other games. I don't know the games that are popular, but if I were to try to play them, I would just have haters in the chat making fun of me. Probably calling me boomer. I am a boomer. The biggest boomer. The best boomer. The youngest boomer. I'm actually the oldest Zoomer. No, actually, I'm a millennial. Unfortunately, I'm not proud of my generation. Bunch of whiny, entitled, whatever. I don't want to insult you if you're a millennial. But let's face it. I mean, but all generations though. I mean, boomers were selfish and short-sighted, and Gen Xers were indifferent and lazy, and millennials are entitled and lazy to a lesser degree, and also have higher expectations than what they can garner through legitimate means. And then Zoomers are just like, they have no social skills. Most of them don't actually. Not all of them, but most of them. Most Zoomers that I interact with cannot communicate well. They don't look you in the eyes. They don't even really push back on you if you push them. They just kind of shrink away into nothing because it's mostly online, because they don't really go out anywhere. They don't really do anything. They don't date. They don't have sex. They don't drink. You know, again, not it's not like a blanket statement. Obviously, there are exceptions, but not a lot. They are really they're a lot easier. At least for me. Maybe it's just because of the demographic that I attract, but they're a lot easier to um, bang. You know, the women and men actually. Yeah, like yeah, I think I've. Well, no, I've been with a few millennial women, but most of them have been like in their mid to early 20s, and and I was and am in my late 30s. I suppose that's not completely unusual. And with guys, I mean, it's mostly Zoomers, but I can see why that is. It's not really a Zoomer thing. It's more of the kind of gay that I attract, which is daddy issues. Yeah. God bless the terrible parenting from the boomers and Xers, because I got a lot of guys on my do list. Not my to-do list, but my do list. For real, not for play. Alright, Ares is getting close. Hopefully we can get rid of this guy first. Come on. Okay, good. That was close. Glad the poison doesn't carry over. Okay, look, we're all leveled up. So 2 levels higher, 14, 15, and 16. I think that's pretty good, right? Yeah. Okay, I want to use do I have a tent? I think I used my tent. Let's heal. Heal. Alright, I'm not going to use a tent. Okay, if I can get to the save point. I got that. I'm not going to grind anymore. But should I address my magic or my MP issue? They're not full. Actually, I have to pee. I have to go to the bathroom, so I'm going to end the stream now, but I'll probably stream later. So yeah, I had a great time talking to myself about myself, and if anyone watched, I apologize.